This here presentation is about trigonometry 1, the sine function, commonly known as SO, aka SO. The sine function deals with the angle that is opposite to one of the sides and the hypotenuse. So here it is written, the sine of the angle is equal to the side that is opposite to the angle alpha divided by the hypotenuse. And it's abbreviated as SO. So here you have an example. The sine function SO. Calculate the length of the side A. So that's why it's good to write down your observations. First, we are dealing with a right angle triangle, and this is stated. Always good to state what type of triangle you are dealing with. Then you focus. The next step now, recommended step, is to talk about the side with the letter you're trying to solve. So the letter is A. So what is that side? How can we describe that side? This side is opposite to the angle 30 degrees. As you can see, it is away from it. You can draw a line and arrow pointing away from A to 30 degrees. So A is opposite to the angle 30 degrees. Then we're going to talk about the other side with the number, which is 29. So 29 now is the hypotenuse, because remember the 90 degrees is pointing to 29. So 29 is the hypotenuse. So we're talking about the opposite side to the angle and the hypotenuse. So we are dealing with the SO implies the sine function, and you write it down. Sine of x is equal to O over h, the side opposite to the angle, over the hypotenuse. And then you substitute sine of 30 degrees is equal to A over 21. We put it over 1. Sine of 30 degrees, you put it over 1, and you cross multiply and divide to get A is equal to 29 times sine of 30 degrees divided by 1, 14.5. So let us do an example. Let's do an example A. Now, before we proceed with this example, let us verify to see if in the list of formulas, the sine function is present, opposite to the angle over hypotenuse. Let's see if it is present in the list of formulas. And here it is present. Sine of theta is opposite side over hypotenuse. Now, that opposite side, it means opposite to this angle theta, Please bear that in mind. It's not the opposite, it's the side opposite to the angle theta. Because if that angle was up there, this side would have been the opposite. Okay, and this side there would have been the adjacent if that angle theta was up there. So please bear that in mind. The cosine is also there and the tan is also there. So the opposite side will always have to be up there. Neither the adjacent side will always have to be down there. It depends on where the angle is, because adjacent means next to. So that side is next to the angle. If this angle was up there, then this side would have been the adjacent because it would have been next to it. And this side here now would have been the opposite because it's away from it if theta was up there. Please bear that in mind. So now we need to make our observations before we proceed. So first observation is to describe the angle. This is a right angle triangle. So we write that down. We know it's a right angle triangle because of the box, the 90 degrees box. Now we need to talk about the side that contains the letter. Here is the letter A. This side is away from 30 degrees. So therefore, this side is opposite to 30 degrees. A is opposite to 30 degrees. So we write that down. Then we talk about the side that contains the number. That's 41.4. This side is away from the 90 degrees. The 90 degrees box is pointing to it. So therefore, 41.4 is the hypotenuse. So we're in a situation where we are dealing with the opposite and the hypotenuse. So therefore, now we have to use the sine function. And the sine function, we have seen it in the list of formulas. All right. It is equal to the opposite sine of the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we can abbreviate it by saying sine of x is equal to capital O over h. O for opposite, h for hypotenuse. And then we substitute. And it's always good to put sine of, or the function itself, the name of the function over 1 to facilitate the cross multiply and divide. You are dealing with two fractions because the right side will always be a fraction. So the angle is 30 degrees. We put 30 here. The opposite side is A, the letter A. And the hypotenuse H is 41.4. So we're going to cross multiply and divide before we're solving for A. So we always divide by the number diagonally away from the letter. So we must divide by 1. Okay, so we're solving for A. So we have to divide by 1. Always divide by the number diagonally away from the letter. So therefore now A is equal to, let's put our divide by 1. Okay, and up there now we're going to put the 41.4 multiply to sine of 30. And 41.4 multiplied to sine of 40 is equal to, put this in the calculator. So according to the scientific calculator, 41.4 times sine of 30 is 20.7. So therefore now A is equal to 20.7 centimeters.